All right, we're live. Yes, the Casanovians. Yes, the Casanovians. Hopefully that title triggers a lot of people. Hopefully you've got the cretins over the keyboard like, oh, who do you think you are? You're so arrogant, you're so egotistical. But yeah, in this stream, what I want to do is I want to explain to you how I became the world's #1 cold approach coach. And the point of this stream really is for you to just copy it. Yeah. So I'm just going to go into all of the inner workings, the advice that my clients pay me thousands of dollars to help them implement. And by the end of this stream, you'll have a deep dive into my mindset, my coaching, the way that I operate. And hopefully by the end of this, you've got everything you need to just go out there and crush it. All right. If you don't know who I am, my name's Christian, self-labeled #1 cold approach coach on the planet. One of my mantras is evidence has got the loudest voice. I've now helped over 200 entrepreneurs, business owners, busy professionals completely rewire their internal belief system so they can get dates on demand with wife-worthy women, create instant chemistry on the spot, turning strangers into lovers faster than a priest deletes his browsing history. And I do all of this using a system called anti-game artistry. Okay, so no weird, convoluted pickup lines, no spending 37 years of your life becoming a high-value man, build it and they will come. It's anti-game artistry. It's leaning in to who you actually are, being so radically you that the right women get attracted and the wrong women get repelled. So the reason why I say I'm the best in the world at what I do is because I've got the evidence to back it up. Okay, all you need to do is go into Christian Casanova testimonials on YouTube. You can listen to clients who've worked with me. Also, I've put a single link beneath this video, which is labeled "See Proof Here." That'll take you to my landing page, more testimonials, more client experiences, more of my clients who are explaining what it's been like to actually work with me, become a member of my private community, The Entourage. Because I think at the moment we live in a trust recession. I think it's very difficult to know who to trust. I make a point to put out my rejection reels. I make a point to document the journey that I've been on. All you need to do is go back onto the oldest videos on this channel and you'll see where I started from, right? I started off in a grotty apartment in central Leeds. I looked like a turnip. I dressed like a moron. Somebody described me the other day as, hey, Christian, I've been watching your older videos. You look like a pale mortician. I look like I used to have a squirrel on my head. But yeah, I was a porn addict. I had erectile dysfunction. I found it very difficult to attract the women that I wanted. And over these past 5 years, I've gone through what I call a personal renaissance. Yeah, I used to be a low-life loser. I used to be addicted to porn. I used to work a dead-end job for minimum wage. My life consisted of going to work, coming home, watching Pornhub, wanking myself off into a sock, and maybe watching the odd day game in field here and there. So I would say I'm somebody who is self-created, just changing my reality, not happening by luck, but happening by design. So if you're watching this right now, and maybe you're like my clients, maybe you're pissed off at your current reality. Maybe you know that you're capable of more, but you've not had the accountability, the community, or the support to get there. Maybe you are successful in your career. Maybe you're a guy over the age of 30 and you're killing it at work, but you don't know how to translate your professional success into dating success. Maybe you're watching other guys who are no better than you, taking action whilst you hesitate. Maybe you're wondering, is this even going to work for me? I've worked with a kaleidoscope of characters. I've worked with black guys, Indian guys, Japanese guys. I've worked with guys who thought they were too old, guys in their 50s who've now got 25-year-old girlfriends. I've got another one of my guys, he joined the Entourage recently, 52-year-old guy who works a corporate job in central London. He's not even had any in-person one-on-one coaching with me, but he's already got 2 beautiful women on the go, effectively 2 girlfriend experiences, simply by getting plugged into the community that we've built, the Entourage. So when guys work with me traditionally, they get 3 days of one-on-one in-person coaching where I just install my anti-game artistry system so they can just skip all the trial and error, get rid of all the guesswork. If they just want to start living a rock star dating life, then I've made my program so easy to be successful that as long as you're willing to put in the reps, as long as you understand it's not a magic bullet, it's not a quick fix, personal trainer can't lift the weight for you. If you understand that it goes deeper than just talking to women, this is a complete overhaul of your current identity. Had a call with a guy the other day and he was like, do you know what? I'm gonna start doing my best. I was like, fuck your best. Your best isn't good enough. Your best has got you to where you are today. So if you're not happy with the life you're living, the money you're making, the women who you're shagging, then that tells me that your best is not enough. So fuck doing your best. Start doing what is necessary, okay? That's what I started doing 5 years ago. Yeah, the person who's speaking to you today, I created this version of myself in my mind. And now when I come onto live streams, I'm like, hey, I'm the best in the world at daytime cold approach. I get the best client results in the industry. I'm the #1 cold approach coach on the planet. It's because that was a vision that I had for myself in my mind, okay? So I would say one of the most powerful things that I do with my guys is giving them the one-on-one in-person coaching. Okay, I don't do group coaching because I think for somebody like you, you are a unique individual and you've got your own unique problems, okay? And this is why I try and explain to people, information is not valuable, okay? If everybody who wanted a six-pack, like if you imagine everybody on this planet who wants a six-pack, very few people have a six-pack. Why? Because even though there are thousands of hours of content online about how to get a six-pack, the problem is implementation, not information. All of the information is already there, but until you've got skin in the game, until you've invested thousands of dollars into your own self-education, it's just wanking in the wind. Oh, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But if you've got a guy in your corner who's like, right, did you go to the gym today? Send me through your macros. What did you eat? Did you slack off? Now you've got accountability. Now you've got structure. And what I've found to be true is when guys work with me in the field one-on-one, they become successful through osmosis, yeah? I think as well as the community of like-minded guys that they become part of, becoming successful through osmosis, this is the cheat code for learning cold approach in 2025. Yeah, if you're around somebody who lives and breathes this stuff, if you're working with somebody who's already allowed over 200 guys to become successful, yeah, guys in their 50s who are now dating 25-year-olds. I've got another new Entourage member, again, not had any in-person coaching yet. At the recent Entourage group coaching call, he said he's now got 6 different women on the go, purely from daytime cold approach in London. Most people these days say, oh, cold approach is dead. Oh, you can't cold approach women in London. Oh, it's all about apps and Instagram. That's not the reality that we're living inside the Entourage. Yeah, one of my favorite questions to ask is, what do I believe to be true about the world that isn't? Yeah, what do you believe to be true about the world that isn't? What do you believe to be true about yourself that isn't? Yeah, because something that I found to be true, and this might be true for you as well, is it's the stories that we tell ourselves which dictate the reality that we live, because that's all we are at the end of the day. All we are is repeated patterns of thoughts and behaviors that we've accepted over time as our identity, and we then crystallize this identity through the language that we use. Yeah, so we'll say things to ourselves like, I suck with women, I'm an introvert, I can't get women because XYZ. And it's like, is that true? Or is it simply a pattern that you've been repeated? Because a lot of this stuff, it is actually not your fault. Some of it is, like some of it actually is your fault. If you're a loser and you don't have any desire to change yourself, if you just want to wank off like I used to do, play some World of Warcraft and cry into a heart-shaped pillow, then yeah, that is your fault. But in regards to learning a skill like daytime approach, I don't know about you, but nobody ever sat me down and taught me how to cold approach a woman. My dad was too busy drinking himself silly. Yeah, I didn't grow up with a strong masculine role model. If you're anything like me, you probably always had this strong desire in yourself to want more. You've probably got at the moment this higher self, which is inside, yeah, where you want to do all these great things. You want to live a rock star dating life. You want to overcome your addictions. You want to make more money. You want to date hotter women. You want to become the version of yourself that you actually feel proud to be. But at the other side, you've got the lower self, which claws you back into the comfort quicksand of complacency. Yeah. And really, what I found to be true after working with over 200 guys, becoming the best in the world at what I do, and just completely rewiring who I am at my core. Like I say, it goes way deeper than just talking to women. This is the most aggressive form of self-development. What I found to be true is within all of us, there is this conflict of identity. Yeah, there is a version of us who we want to be. There is the version of us we've always been. And there's a version of us who we feel as though we should be. Yeah. And really, when I'm talking to you on these live streams, I'm appealing to your higher self. I'm not speaking to that lower version of you that maybe wasn't cool and calm and confident as a child. But if you can understand, if there's one thing you take away from this stream, you already have so much inside of you. And what I do, my way of coaching, anti-game artistry, it's not about adding anything else to your character. It's actually about unlearning. Yeah, unlearning all of the bullshit. Again, what do you believe to be true about the world that isn't? If when you saw the title of this video, did you get triggered by it? Did you think, oh, this guy's obnoxious, this guy's egotistical, oh, who does this guy think he is? Or did you see the title and think, yeah, fucking fair play, this guy isn't afraid, this guy isn't shackled by the constraints of society? It's kind of like, you know, when Cristiano Ronaldo comes off the football pitch, you know, when the interviewer's like, yeah, Ronaldo, how did you think you got on? He's like, fucking smashed it, got a hat-trick, rest of my team shit. That's what I love. I just love that brutal, no bullshit authenticity. And I think that's what the world needs more of. Yeah, not being afraid to say what it is you want to say. Yeah, it's the same when you go over and cold approach a woman as well. I understand. A lot of guys these days, you're living like closet heterosexuals. Yeah, you're scared of being a man. You have shame attached to your desire for the feminine. But what I found to be true is most men are frustrated because they lack love from the feminine. And honesty is the greatest aphrodisiac. So the way that I teach daytime cold approach in 2025, it's not by pushing, pulling, vibing, stacking, negging. It's not about telling my guys to wait until they're 39 years old, they've got a Lamborghini and biceps the size of fucking coconuts. It's honesty. It's penetration through authenticity. It's walking over to women, big set of balls, understanding you are going to feel doubt, you are going to feel hesitation. That's okay. I feel that as well. But if we can learn to not attach as much importance to the emotions that we feel, because anxiety is not an illness, it's an emotion. And the only reason why you think you've got to approach anxiety is simply because you've not practiced approaching enough. Yeah? If I have never played tennis in my life, I'm probably going to feel a little bit of apprehension towards playing tennis. But if I've played 100 games of tennis, maybe I've lost, maybe I've won sometimes, then I'm going to feel less anxiety because we become what we practice. But I think there's this invisible wall of resistance which keeps most guys stuck to the spot. Again, you know what it is you want to do. You know, if you're watching these streams, you want to go out there, you want to cold approach women. Maybe if you're anything like me, you want to create content online. You want to make internet money. You want to be able to provide for the people who are there for you. Yeah, you probably got all of these strong desires inside of you, but then your lower self is like, nah, what will people think of me? What if I approach and it doesn't go well? What if I get a bad reputation for myself in my city? I understand all of that. But I think if you can see somebody like me who started off in the absolute mud 5 years ago, complete low-life loser, go back, watch the oldest videos on my channel, then it provides optimism. And I think that is my definition of confidence. Confidence for me is optimism in the absence of certainty. So even if you have a lot of resistance right now, even if you're worried that, what if I can't translate my professional success into dating success? Well, even if you're worried that every woman you approach today is gonna reject you, if you can have optimism in the absence of certainty and say to yourself that this is either gonna go well or I've got a funny story. And every approach that you do is an investment into the identity of the man who you want to embody. So the version of you who's watching this live stream today, 2 years from now, it's not, hopefully, gonna be the same version of you. So that's why I say to people, and this is super practical and tangible, if you can get 100 direct cold approaches done as fast as possible, understanding that the women who say no right now, 2 years from now, first of all, you're not even going to remember them. And in 100 years' time, none of this is going to matter. It's all going to be space dust and ashes. So don't die with your music still inside of you. But if you can understand, in the same way that when I was first learning cold approach in Leeds, the version of me who was getting rejected in 2020, it's not the same person anymore. So this is why I try and get you to understand, treat this first season of cold approach, these first 100 direct approaches, treat them as batting practice. They don't even count. Maybe you get phone numbers, maybe you get dates, maybe you get blown out 70 times in a row. But what matters most is how well you walk through the fire. Yeah, blessings on your courage, boy. That's the way to the stars. Now, yeah, getting rejected, it does suck. It feels like getting metaphorically kicked in the bollocks, and I get that. But if you can understand the compounding effect of the actions that you take today, yeah, it's not the same version of you that's getting rejected 2 years from now. But most guys, they stay in this procrastination paralysis. I think a lot of guys have just got too much ego attached to their own self-preservation. Yeah, especially if you're anything like the guys who I work with. Maybe you're over the age of 30, you're a successful, high-achieving dude, you built status in your industry, you're probably respected in your line of work. You can oftentimes be a victim of the high achiever paradox, which is the higher you climb, the further the perceived fall. Yeah, so if you've built a lot of success in your life, you might see daytime approach not as this incredible opportunity, but as a direct threat to the identity that you've built. I think one of the reasons why guys get the success that they do when they work with me is because I aim to make the process of cold approach as fun as possible. I think too many guys in this space, they treat daytime approach as this militant strategic operation, like must go out, must get 20 sets, must log every set into a Microsoft Excel sheet, or you can just go out and have a fucking fun time with it, understanding that not every woman's gonna wanna fuck you, and that's exactly what you want. Because when you view everything through the lens of anti-game artistry, you understand you don't need every woman, right? You just need to find your fuck yeses, and you only need one, right? You only need one. And then if you've got two women who are fighting over your attention right now, that's an abundant dating life, yeah? When I strip back all of the layers with the guys who I work with, when we have no bullshit conversations, I just say to them, right, Derek, tell me what you want. Not what you think you should want to want, but what you actually want. A lot of guys just want girlfriends. A lot of guys just want to have a best friend who they can do life with. But I think a lot of men these days have been so brainwashed by the brain dead. Oh, you need to be a high value man. You need to be a player. You need to break all these hearts. And sure, there's probably a season in your life where that's quite useful. But I think it's so important for you as a man, as a sovereign individual, to actually ask yourself, who am I? What do I actually want? What do I value in a partner? Right? Like, I'm in an incredible relationship right now, the best relationship that I've ever been in my life, with a wife-worthy woman that I genuinely see a future with. I genuinely see me building a family and us building a life together. And it's taken me a long time to get here. But I was brainwashed. You know, I went through those phases of going down the red pill rabbit hole or the black pill rabbit hole. Oh, it's all about looks, it's all about money, it's all about status. It's like, dude, there's plenty of rich guys who suck with women. Like, I work with guys who've got it all on paper. They've got the looks, they've got the money, they've got the fucking penthouse in Malibu. They still can't pull a muscle. Why? Because oftentimes they can still feel like the ugly duckling on the inside. It's like their internal hasn't caught up with their external, or the voices that they're telling themselves are castrating them of their confidence. What if I approach and what if she sees the real me? What if I'm not as confident as I am in this approach compared to when I'm at work? What if my ego gets capitulated? Oh, what if that reminds me of getting rejected in my childhood? Oh no, that's too scary, that's too painful. But when guys work with me, they've invested a shitload of money into my coaching. There's no room for excuses anymore. And this is how we transmute decades into days. Yeah, when you burn the boats, when you remove the possibility of turning back, that's how you get the best results in your life. And I know this to be true because I've invested well over now $100,000 into my own self-education. Last year, I worked with one of my business mentors, William Brown. I paid Will £15,000 for 2 months of one-to-one coaching, and then I paid him another £5,000 to fly to Dubai for his 3-day in-person masterminds. So that was over $23,000 all in when you factor in flights, accommodation, and the coaching fee as well. And I was always somebody who, I used to think all of this shit was a scam. Oh, like, why would you pay for mentors? Why would you pay for courses? Why would you pay for programs? Because what I found to be true is I'm going to have to take these actions anyway. So I might as well do it with someone who's going to get me there faster. Yeah. And I've got this obsession with progression. I was, interestingly enough, I was just on a call before I got into this live stream. That's why I feel quite socially pumped. I found this other guy online that I would like to collaborate with. And we just had a business call. He was talking to me about his offer and what he could do for my business. We were speaking. He was like, what motivates you right now? Like, where do you want to take this business to? And honestly, like, my empire visions are making consistent $100,000 months with what I'm doing now. And I know that I can do that. And it's not for the money. I'm not motivated by materialistic trophies. What I'm motivated by is accomplishment. Yeah, is recognition. On a deep level, I've got this deep desire to be worshipped. Yeah, that's just me being completely transparent with you. Like, I've still got all of these crippling doubts in my mind. Yeah, I've got this, I would describe it as a superior inferiority complex, where at one side, I think I'm better than everybody else. But on the other side, I think that no matter what I do, I'm never going to be good enough. I always feel like an unlovable piece of shit that no matter what I achieve in my life, there's always more to achieve. And this is childhood conditioning, just being an only child, never having any friends, finding it difficult to even talk to family members. My mum's got a lot of mental health issues, so she was working multiple jobs just to support me as a child. But obviously, if your mum's working multiple jobs, stressed out over absolute tits, and the family's got a history of mental health issues, then I often became the emotional brunt for her anguish. So I learned game accidentally. I learned if I didn't speak with the right intonation at the right time during the right moment, then I might inflict the inevitable wrath of my mum, right? So I learned social skills accidentally. And then even as I was growing up, I always used to suck with people. I used to break out into these weird sweating fits at school if I thought I was going to get put on the spot to answer questions. And I was just a sniveling mess. That's why at 13 years old, I decided to become a magician, try and take a sledgehammer to my social anxieties. And I spent 2 months in the Lake District in my hometown of Barrow-in-Furness, walking around parks with a deck of cards in my pocket, terrified of talking to people. I wanted to be able to approach people because I've been watching David Blaine on YouTube, been watching David Blaine's content, and I used to always say to myself, yes, tomorrow I'm going to go out and I'm going to approach people and I'm going to become the best magician ever. And then tomorrow would become today. I would walk out of my house, 13 years old, absolute sniveling mess. I just couldn't bring myself to approach. Yeah. And this wasn't necessarily because I had social anxiety. I just lacked practice. And this is why I believe I've become the best in the world at what I do, because I see my 13-year-old self in my clients. Because that story might sound similar to you right now. You might have been watching cold approach content for weeks or months or years. And you might keep telling yourself the same story that next weekend, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to approach some women. And then next weekend rolls around and maybe you do that thing where you tell yourself you're going to approach, but I'll get a coffee first. Oh, maybe I'll just do some warm-ups. Oh, she's not attractive enough. Oh no, she looks busy. She looks bitchy. She looks like she might have a boyfriend. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to go to the gym first. And then, yeah, it's a bit late now. I know what I'll do. I need more theory. I'll go watch a Christine Casanova live stream and I'll hit it again tomorrow. This is actually what happened with one of my clients, Luke Bexley. His full testimonial is on Christine Casanova testimonials page. Also, the link below, you can find his testimonial there as well. But Luke Bexley, 21-year-old guy, he came across my content at the end of last year. So we did our in-person coaching in London. But yeah, he'd gone out there. He tried to cold approach women on his own. He tried to go out into his city centre, and then he kept conveniently telling himself the same excuses. So he pulled the trigger, and fair fucking play to him as well. 21 years old, the youngest member of the entourage. And we completed 3 days of in-person coaching in February of this year. I installed the anti-game artistry system into him. And then from those 3 days of in-person coaching, he then joined me and the rest of our entourage members at one of our in-person meetups. So in case you don't know, all of my clients, they get in-person, one-on-one, 3 days of coaching where I just allow them to skip all the trial and error, no more wasting thousands of hours of watching content online, telling yourself tomorrow's going to be the day. Yeah, you could do that, or you could just kind of work with an expert. So they get 3 days of in-person coaching, then they get access to our global community, the entourage. Like, dude, we've got guys in the entourage. They bought properties together. They're traveling together. We've got guys linking up in Barcelona, in Belgrade, in London, in Manchester. We've created this mammoth, this thing, the entourage. And we call it the entourage effect now, because when guys join the entourage, even before they've done any in-person coaching, we've had guys who've joined the entourage, plugged into the community, get themselves girlfriends, started approaching. They're like, dude, I don't even know what the fuck's happened. I just started talking with Christian on the phone. I came to the weekly entourage calls. Now I'm in an airport waiting for my flight. And I feel weird if I'm not approaching. This is fucking insane. So Luke got plugged in to the community. He joined us over in Barcelona. And I think he went on 4 dates in 3 days. Yeah, in Barcelona. Never been to Barcelona before, but purely from the skills that I installed into him in London, the confidence and the character that he built, he was able to replicate his London results over in Barcelona. And I've actually got an interview that I'm going to do with Luke. We're going to film the interview tomorrow, and I want to go deeper on Luke's origin story. So yeah, just make sure you subscribe. You've got notifications turned on, because I'm going to drop that interview. 21 years old. Now got his dating life fixed. Yeah, when I work with guys who are in their 50s, like I've worked with guys who've come out of difficult divorces, guys who wasted a shitload of time and a shitload of money simply because they didn't have these skills installed into them. Guys in their 50s who I work with, even though their dating lives are unrecognizable now, they all said the same thing to me. They all said, Christian, I wish I'd have started sooner. One of my guys, Peter, he's a semi-retired business owner. So sold his company for a lot of money. And we worked together, can't remember when it was. It was February 2024, 2023, can't remember the exact date. And he'd been trying to cold approach on his own. He'd been trying to watch videos, but he was in a unique situation because he was in his 50s. He understood he wasn't getting any younger, and he just wanted the skill. He just wanted it now. He'd dedicated so much of his time in his youth to building his business. And he ended up having a rotation of statuesque blonde bombshells. I'm working on a video as well at the moment, which is basically a deep dive on how to actually cold approach as a busy guy over the age of 30. So yeah, if you're part of my ideal client profile, so maybe you're a busy guy, probably over the age of 30, but like I said, I've got guys in the entourage who are in their 20s who are absolutely crushing it in business, e-commerce entrepreneurs, digital nomads. Just guys who are, just guys who are hungry for more. Do you know what I mean? I think the guys who get attracted to my content, it's not just about cold approach. It's guys who want excellence in their entire lives. Guys who want to become social savages, live rockstar dating lives, become abundant in themselves. Remember, abundance is not always having, it's knowing that you can have. Yeah, and when you've got a skill like daytime approach and you've learned it the right way, the biggest problem you face is deciding which woman you're going to take out tonight. Yeah, that's what being abundant is, right? It's not always having, it's knowing you can have. So even though I'm in the best relationship that I've ever been in my life, I understand that at any given moment, this relationship could turn to dust. Like, I'm aware of that, okay? But now I feel as though I can bring my best self into this relationship because I understand I can replace it. And that might sound quite Machiavellian for a lot of you, but I just see that as the way the world works, right? The world is motivated by self-interest. Everybody just wants the best deal for themselves. All is fair in love and war. I used to get very emotional about relationships and think, oh, this is good, this is bad. It's like, no, nothing is good nor bad. It's the thinking that makes it so. So even if my relationship right now does come to an end, yes, I will be sad. Yes, I will probably cry. Yes, I will probably make a live stream out of it. But I know I will be fine because I've become the version of myself who knows he can have a gain, right? And that is probably the most valuable aspect that my clients get from my coaching, because I'm not teaching them how cold approach works. I'm teaching them how they can become the version of themselves who cold approach can work for. And I truly believe the only way to achieve this and to get real results in 2025 is through one-on-one, individually tailored coaching, right? The last thing you want is come to a Christian Casanova day game boot camp and there's 8 other dudes on that boot camp with you and the coaches don't know what the fuck they're doing. And oh, now I'm getting coached by some other guy that I've never heard of before. It's an absolute mess. It's absolute shambles. So I think understanding as well that continuing to be the version of yourself who your woman fell for in the first place is huge. Like, I remember a bullshit narrative I used to hear in the red pill space, which was stay single. You know, women are going to drain you of your time, your energy, and your money. And it's like, well, that's not the case for me. Like, since I got into a relationship with my woman, I've made more money than I've ever made in my life. Like last year, I had my best financial month. I made $42,000 in a single month, right? And that was where I was in a relationship with my girlfriend. I kind of feel as though it's similar to when I start having children. One of the channels that I follow on YouTube, James Smith, he's got children right now. And I read one of his community posts yesterday and he was like, having a child makes me more locked in. There's no more wasted time anymore. I think there's a statistic like a man's income increases by 20% when he has his first child, because I think it makes complete sense. It's kind of like when guys invest thousands of dollars into my coaching, that's kind of the same thing where now you have to make it work. It's like if you've got another human being or multiple human beings who are dependent on you, then you're going to pull your finger out your ass, right? But I think this is why a lot of guys don't get the results that they want, whether it's with women, whether it's with fitness, whether it's with business, because they're not stretched, yeah? Now, it shouldn't destroy you, but I do think it should sting. You know, if you're going to invest money, I think it needs to sting, because I think that's what gives you the drive and the desire and the determination to see it through, yeah? It's kind of like going to a gym where, imagine you go to a gym and you pay $5 a month for membership. Maybe you'll go, maybe you won't. But if you're paying $500 a month for that gym, you're going to probably go there every fucking day, even if it's just to make some notes on your laptop. You're going to get the most out of the facilities, because the higher the financial investment, the stronger the emotional commitment. I found this to be true time and time again, that whenever I want to become great at a skill, whether it is daytime cold approach, as many of you will know, I started getting coached 6 months after I started. And I was a magician for 10 years, right? I was a magician for a decade, and I still knew I didn't know what I didn't know. Yeah, I remember Alex Hormozy once said, it was such a beautiful closing line. He was like, if you currently make $50,000 a year, then you're paying $950,000 in ignorance tax not to know how to make $1 million, right? So it's like, how much is not knowing costing you? And I think with something like dating, it is more intangible. Do you know what I mean? It's more intangible because, you know, it's not the same as money that if you're making 50K and it's costing you $950,000 not to know how to make $1 million. But the narratives that I always used to tell myself is, you know, if I don't get this area of my life handled, it's going to spill over into every other thing that I do. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how successful you are materialistically. If you don't have a woman who loves you, if you're not getting laid consistently with women who you're actually excited about, then what the fuck's the point in having all this cash? What's the point in stacking all these materialistic trophies? What's the point in having 8 Porsches on your driveway if you don't have love, nourishing love from the feminine? Because, you know, you might be a guy who's watching this and maybe you do just want to play the field for a little while. If that's the case, fucking good luck to you. I can definitely help you with that. But I think what I've noticed is many of the clients that I work with now, they've kind of got past that phase of being a player. You know, they've had that experience, they've worn that mask, they've done those things. And now really it's about finding something serious. Like I say to you boys all the time, I'm not a pickup artist, I'm not a day gamer, I'm not a cold approacher. Yeah, the way that I see myself is a freedom from bullshit practitioner. And when guys work with me, not only do they enjoy new dating success that a former version of themselves would have thought that's impossible, but, you know, I've had conversations with my guys where I've allowed them to triple their business. I've had coaching clients who, after working with me and seeing what they're capable of, they've left the 9-to-5s. They've exploded their income. They've started to build international lifestyles, no longer having a boss directing them. Oh, you need to stand behind this desk. You need to ask for permission when you're allowed to go for a shit. Like, daytime approach for me, when you learn it the right way, it's a springboard towards the rest of your reality. Yeah, and I think if you've got that mindset when you're learning something like daytime approach, if you understand when you're going out there, hopefully today, you're not just doing these approaches for you in this moment. You're doing them for the man who you're becoming. You're doing them for your future family. You're doing them for your future bloodline. You're doing these approaches to say to the world, I'm not going to be a spectator in my own life. Yeah? Because every time you don't approach that woman, you're basically saying to the world, hey, I'm happy being a programmable pawn. I'm happy being comfortable. I'm happy marinating in the matrix of mediocrity, right? But every time you do that approach, despite the resistance, even if there are people looking at you, even if the approach goes terrible, right? You know in that moment that you've chose character over comfort. And you do that, you rep that out so many times that you become what you practice. And another one of my mantras is, you are what you pretend to be. Yeah, if you pretend that you are God's gift to women and you act as if you already are the version of yourself, this is what I did when I first started. I acted as if I was the guy. I acted as if I was the best at daytime call approach, because otherwise I would not have had the audacity to get started, right? It takes audacity and it takes delusional optimism. And this is me talking to myself 5 years ago, to even have the desire to create this type of content in the first place. Because I was a loser. I was a low-life loser, addicted to porn, erectile dysfunction, right? All I had was optimism in the absence of certainty, right? I found a camera guy. I got in contact with him. It was during the pandemic, so travel was restricted. But I did everything within my power to make those first in-field videos. You can still watch them on my channel. And to have that level of audacity to think, yeah, I can do this. I can become the best in the world at it, despite my current situation. That is what I'm installing into my clients, right? Hey, you might have doubt, you might have hesitation, you might not think you're the guy right now. That's all right. I didn't think that when I started either. And I still have these moments. I still have these moments of crippling doubt, like, oh, hope these videos go good, hope the live stream's well received, hope people think I'm not too much of an arsehole. But then my higher self kicks in. And it's like, Christian, who gives a flying fuck, right? In 100 years, all of this is going to be space, dust, and ashes anyway. And the way that I live my life through the lens of anti-game artistry, the way that I approach dating is the same way that I approach business. And it's understanding that polarization is profitable, right? No one gives a fuck about vanilla, right? Polarization is profitable. So by speaking directly to you, by speaking in this way, I'm going to naturally repel 90% of people who come across my stuff. And that's the exact point. I'm not trying to be everything to everybody. I'm simply attempting to be the right somebody for the right somebodies. Yeah? If you ever read the literature, 1,000 True Fans, the point of that book is to explain you don't need everybody. If you want to build a thriving online business, then you only need 1,000 people who love you. You only need to be famous for a few. Right? If you've got 1,000 people who absolutely love you, like raving, diehard fans, if 1,000 people pay you $1,000, then you can do the math, but you've got a decent chunk of change there, right? So if you contrast that to the population of the planet, which is what, 7.5 billion people, if out of that 7.5 billion people, you only need 1,000 people who know you, who like you, who trust you, and if those people are paying you $1,000, you've got a decent business there. And the question is, well, how do I get people to pay me $1,000? Well, you need to learn how to build a brand online. This is what I do with a select few of my clients now. And this is another reason why I think I can confidently say I have become the best in the world at what I do, because my clients go on to become cold approach coaches. If you're watching in-field footage from other people in this space, chances are they've gone through my system. They've been, or maybe they still are, a member of the entourage, right? So not only do guys pay me thousands of dollars to teach them my system, but they also teach me thousands of dollars to build their own cold approach coaching empires, yeah? Like if you're someone who wants to learn how to build a 6-figure personal brand online, that's what I'm helping a select number of my clients do as well. So not only is my coaching that effective where I allow guys to get dates on demand with wife-worthy women, some of my guys get 3 dates in the same day, 50-year-old to a dating 25-year-olds, guys who came out of toxic long-term relationships, who've now met their life partners. But What I also do for guys who want it is I teach them how to do what I've done. Yeah? Because I think all of this stuff is related. Do you know what I mean? Like the confidence that you build through daytime approach, you translate that into business. And that's why I really do believe that something like daytime approach, it will allow you to make more money. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you've got apprehension to jumping on sales calls. Well, if you've already gone out into the streets and done 10 direct daytime approaches that day, you're going to walk onto that call with this rock star confident energy. This is another really great thing that I'd love you to take away from this stream is this understanding of energy transference. And rather than doing the approaches simply to get laid, doing approaches because it increases your state. Yeah, I really believe after being in this space for multiple years now, state is more important than technique. Yeah, I could have the shittest verbal game in the world, but if I'm in a high frequency state and the way that I feel internally is electric, then you don't need to put that much emphasis on conversation skills or what if my mind goes blank or, oh, what if I run out of things to say? Because if you're already in a high frequency state, your state does most of the heavy lifting for you. And you'll notice to be true if you've gone out there and you've approached. If you're just feeling incredible within, you're in that social flow, maybe you've done a shitload of approaches that day, you just feel electric. You've tapped into what I call godly frequency. And if you can view these approaches as a way to increase your state, and if you are an entrepreneur, I guarantee if you're not already leveraging daytime approach as a productivity tool, you definitely want to start it. It's like, for me, it's like having 8 cans of Red Bull or having an incredible gym workout. Yeah. And then you can start to mix all of these activities together, right? So I will train Muay Thai. I will speak to my clients. I will send out voice messages. I will create content. And by the time I've stacked all of these wins, it's like the more I win, the more I want to win. And then by the time I'm talking with my girlfriend or I don't know, I'm bantering with the barista, it's like she's feeling what I feel. Yeah, the girl is my mirror. I just think that's an incredible way of using daytime approach. It's like you're doing it for the feeling that it gives you, which I think on a deeper philosophical level is why we do most things in life, isn't it? It's for the feeling that it gives us. One sec, let me just remove that notification. It's for the feeling that it gives us. You know, it's like, well, why do you want to eat a donut? Why do you want to go to the gym? Why do you want to watch porn? It's for the feeling. You know, it's chasing that feeling, chasing that dragon. So I think the world is run by feelings. And I think the key, really, if you want to achieve success in something as difficult as daytime call approach, is you almost need to reframe what it means for you. Because I think a lot of guys get stuck with daytime approach because they see it as a direct threat towards their character, towards their identity. But if you can view it as a way of forging your character, dealing with adversity, forging a new identity, and also having this positive impact on the world as well. You know, like going out there today, doing some direct approaches. One of the best mindsets I can give you, this is a mindset that I give to my entourage guys, is having this mindset of going to give. Yeah, if you've got a lot of anxiety right now, usually it's because you're thinking too much about yourself. And I get it, we're motivated by self-interest. I get it, right? We're selfish creatures. But if you go out today and just genuinely want to put smiles on people's faces, then I guarantee you'll feel less anxiety, because now it's like, imagine you've just seen somebody walking down the street and they've dropped their mobile phone. Yeah, imagine someone's just dropped their phone. Imagine the feeling you would have to return their phone to them. Imagine the gratitude that they're gonna feel. Yeah, imagine how uplifted they're now gonna feel because you've been the one to have the balls to pick up the phone and then go over and return it to them before they got on a train to Woolwich and did whatever they were gonna do in Woolwich. But like, that's the same feeling you can tap into through daytime approach. Like, you are genuinely a creator of magical experiences. A lot of guys, they will experience failure in advance because they think too many steps ahead into the future and think about all the things that could go wrong. But you might approach a woman today purely going in with the mindset of going to give, and she could become your next girlfriend. She could become the mother of your children. So being able to err on the side of optimism and understanding that a lot of these women that you're approaching, a lot of them are secretly lonely. You know, a lot of the times they're bombarded on social media by DMs. They might be getting approached in nightclubs by some sloppy dudes. Maybe the guys in their social circle are not really doing it for them. So if you're a well put together individual, you are working on your social skills. Maybe you're building your business right now. You are doing everything within your power to become the most fuckable version of yourself, exactly like I've done over these past 5 years. If you're doing all of these things and you're presenting yourself to these women, then have this understanding that you're only one approach away from your entire life changing. This was a mindset that really helped me through some difficult times. Now, I remember first learning cold approach. This was before I got coached. I remember first learning the skill on my own. It was during the pandemic, so the streets of Leeds were like fucking zombie land. And, you know, I remember having these dark nights of the soul where I'd go out, maybe I'd get some phone numbers, but then the phone numbers would flake. Maybe my conversations that day were shit. Maybe I went on a date, but I didn't have the confidence to pull the trigger and go for the kiss because I was still battling with a lot of sexual shame myself. Or maybe the dates weren't going well because I remember this happened actually. I remember when I started getting dates from cold approach, it really triggered so much anxiety inside of me because I was almost scared of succeeding. Yeah, because I explain to you boys all the time, like I had a problem with erectile dysfunction because I watched way too much porn growing up. And I always saw sex as this performative act, yeah, where I had to prove myself. And if I wasn't perfect, then I would lose value in the eyes of a woman. That's a story for a separate fucking time. But I know a lot of guys struggle with this and they won't admit it. But I want to admit it and I want to share this with you because none of us are perfect. We're not fucking robots. And I think the way that society is set up right now, I understand why guys struggle in these areas, especially with dating. And I remember being on dates with women. I remember being so scared of what would happen if I brought her back to my place. Like what if, because what I found was when I was first learning cold approach, I was presenting myself as the version of myself who I wanted these women to see. So this was before I discovered the system anti-game artistry, which is basically, this is me, take it or leave it. If you can accept me right now, you can accept me anytime. But a lot of guys, myself included, when I first started learning game, you get taught to wear this mask. Yeah, you get taught to put on this persona, masquerade as this personification of perfection, right? But what I found to be true is eventually the mask will slip. Eventually she'll find out you're not that guy who approached her, right? And this can cause a lot of problems for guys. It caused a lot of problems for me because I was approaching women in one way. I was trying to be this cool, suave player or, you know, just presenting myself like I didn't have any flaws because this is what old school game wanted you to do. Like old school game wanted you to learn the 10-minute sales pitch. It was focused on acquisition and not retention, right? It was focused on getting the woman, but it wasn't focused on keeping the woman. Now, with my guys, we do both, yeah? We get the acquisition side of things sorted so they know how they can get dates on demand with wife-worthy women, but more importantly, we teach them how to handle relationships, new relationships. How do they bring their new identity into their new relationships? How do they learn to present themselves to the world authentically? So there's no more performance, there's no more pretense, there's no more wearing a mask, yeah? And I think that is one of the most powerful things you can do in dating is to remove the mask, to rip up the dating rule book and just say, hey, this is me, take it or leave it. I remember going on these dates and just being so stuck in my head, like, oh, fuck, like, what if my dick doesn't work? What if she finds out that I'm not that guy? And it was just an absolute fucking mess, which was a big driving force behind teaching what I teach now. But a really practical thing that I would love you to take away from this stream as well is the importance of state transparency. Yeah, being more transparent about the way you feel. And it's not some soppy, pessimistic way, like, oh, I'm a sniveling mess, oh, please like me. No, it's coming from an abundant state. It's coming from a place of power, not from a place of pessimism, right? And this is why it's so important you get the basics handled first, because all daytime approach should be is a complement to an already abundant lifestyle, right? I've said it before, daytime approach, it's a hyperbolizer, meaning it will exaggerate the man who you currently are. So if you're out of shape, if you stink, if you look terrible, then all cold approach is going to do is going to hold a mirror up to who you are, and it's going to amplify that character. So get the basics sorted first, right? If you are a loser, if you're out of shape, if you've got fucking man boobs, if you stink, if your social skills are almost non-existent because all you're doing is going to work, watching porn, rinse and repeat, dude, it's not a magic bullet. Right? It's not a quick fix. You actually need to become the version of yourself who women will give the time of day. But understand, like, looking good, it's an open, right? It will buy you 20 seconds of a woman's attention. It won't sell the product, right? What sells the product is who you are and not just what you have, yeah? So looking good is great. Yeah, you should be doing everything within your power to look and feel as good as possible. I've got a free course. It's called My Most Fuckable Man Course. Just type in Christian Casanova Most Fuckable Man Course. I literally lay out a step-by-step roadmap, what I did to become more fuckable, right? Because I think, why not? You know what I mean? We get one shot at this life, so why would you not put in the reps to become a more fuckable version of yourself internally as well? Yeah, so that course, it's a free course, you might as well download it. It teaches you not just how I became more fuckable externally, but how I rewired my internal belief system. So I actually felt worthy. I actually felt deserving. I actually felt as though I was a guy that women were actually excited about. Yeah, because, you know, if you're a guy and you are looking good right now, obviously there's always improvements that we can make. But let's say you're hitting the gym consistently. Maybe you are engaging in hobbies and interests like martial arts like I do. Maybe you are investing heavily into your business. Maybe you are working on your social skills. Maybe going to improv classes to meet new people, expand your network and get better socially. Like, let's say you are putting those reps in. Cold approach is going to make you even more fuckable, right? Because if you're getting feedback from women and they're giving you weird looks or side-eye glances, or maybe some of them are literally saying, this is creepy, please stop. That means, in my experience, you've not become the version of yourself who cold approach can work for yet. So do yourself a favor, stop cold approaching and get the basics taken care of. This should be common sense, but common sense is not common practice. And a lot of guys, unfortunately, have been brainwashed by the brain dead. Oh, you can be this low-value dude sleeping on a cum-stained mattress in your grandma's basement and you can still pull Miss Universe, bro, because game trumps all. No, game does not trump all. And yes, looks do fucking matter. But there is a big difference between looking good and being good looking, right? And it's within any man's power to improve upon what he's been given and play his hand to the best of his ability. That's what I've done, right? Fitness and fashion. They're the two easiest things you can fix, right? Wear better clothes, get yourself a better body. There, done, simple. Does that mean that you're gonna be able to get with every single woman? No, you're not gonna be every woman's type. Like even your best won't be enough for the majority of women, and that's okay, yeah? This should inspire you, because rather than going into all of your conversations thinking, I need to be universally attractive, every approach is this make or break scenario. No, you are becoming the most fuckable version of yourself, and then when you are cold approaching through the lens of anti-game artistry, you are filtering for your fuck yeses, yeah? The women who just like you, the women who light up, who flick their hair, who have the anime eyes. These are the women you focus your attention on, not wasting time on dead leads, not wasting time on maybe girls, like, oh, I need to think about it. It's the same when I'm talking with guys on sales calls, right? If I've got a call with a guy and he's interested in working with me, the worst thing someone can say to me is, oh, I need to think about it. No, it's either a fuck yes or it's a fuck no. You're not going to hurt my feelings, right? If it's too expensive, if you're not ready right now, that's fine. But don't bullshit me with, oh, I need to think. No, you don't need to think about anything. When someone says, I need to think about it, it's a smokescreen for uncertainty. There is something going on in the background of their mind that they want to say, but they won't say it. Yeah? And this is why just brutal, radical authenticity, just being 100% honest with the way you communicate, it's not just in the way you approach women, it's the way you handle interpersonal relationships, it's the way you handle parasocial relationships, it's the way you move through the world. It's everything. Everything is related, right? It's the way you do anything, it's the way you do everything. But state transparency, as I was explaining before, is a great tool. Like when you are living this abundant life and you feel good in yourself, it's okay if you're talking with women and you say something like, you know what, let's say you run out of things to say. Like you are allowed to just say, fucking hell, I just run out, I was gonna say something, but fuck me, you're too sexy. I just completely gone blank. You're gonna have to help me, otherwise we'll have to start talking about our hashtag feelings, talk about our families or some shit. Or maybe you actually did feel nervous to walk over to that woman. Yeah, you are allowed to say it as long as it's coming from an abundant state, right? Like, easiest way to tap into an abundant state. Let's say right now, you don't have any women in your life and you're just wanking yourself off to Mayan fields. Easiest thing to do is imagine that you already are crushing it. This is what I did. I'm just explaining what I did. It might not work for you, it worked for me. But if you can just imagine that you already have 10 beautiful women in your phone who want to bang you, then tap into that feeling, right? Like Neville Goddard said, assume the state of the wish fulfilled, right? So tap into that feeling. Like, just imagine right now, purely for a thought experiment, imagine how you would feel. Imagine how you would feel if you did have 10 beautiful women in your phone who wanted to date you. Or imagine somebody just wired $30 million into your bank account. And just imagine you open up your online banking, you get past the verification phase, the circle turns around, and then boom, $30 million tax-free. And just imagine what that would actually feel like. Imagine how carefree, how generous, how non-needy you would be. Because understand this, abundance is the antidote to all of your anxieties. I'm going to say that again, because if you understand this, it's going to save you fucking years of banging your head against a brick wall. Abundance is the antidote to all of your anxieties. The person who has the most cares the least. And the issue today is most men are not in a relationship with abundance. They're in a relationship with scarcity. And that's why fear ruminates in your mind like dirty laundry in a dirty tumble dryer. One of my entourage guys, 44-year-old guy, after 13 approaches, got himself a 19-year-old Brazilian girlfriend, 44-year-old guy, fucking awesome. He'll be in the video that I'm gonna upload later today. The thing that he said to me was, I needed to get into a relationship with abundance. That's what I needed to do. Yeah, this was a guy who was an actor in Hollywood. He was a personal trainer for Mark Wahlberg. He still reached out to get coaching, right? So if he needed coaching, everyone fucking needs it to some extent. And he was saying to me that a big portion of his life, even though he'd been with lots and lots of women, he'd been married, he'd come out of a divorce, like he'd seen it all, he'd done it all, a little bit like the James Bond archetype. He said that for most of his adult life, he'd been in a relationship with scarcity, always second guessing himself, always feeling like the ugly duckling on the inside. Even when he did have the lifestyle, the money, the women, he still felt empty because he hadn't become the version of himself that was abundant, right? And abundance is, like, if you can just understand, and I know it's hard to understand because if somebody had said this to me 5 years ago, I would have probably been like, oh, fuck off, mate. But maybe you'll come to this conclusion, or maybe you already have, but if there is just like one thing that I can install into your brain, if you are abundant, right? If you feel as though you are, like, all of your needs are being met, even if they're not, like if you've got delusional optimism that with enough reps, with enough practice, you can at least improve your situation. If you can imagine what it would feel like to have the woman of your dreams, if you can imagine what it would feel like to be living an international lifestyle, if you can imagine what it feels like to have $30 million into your bank account, it's almost like living your life like you're already a millionaire, you just don't have the money in your pocket yet, right? As a man thinketh, so is he. And even if it's not true, we make it true by believing in it, yeah? But I really do believe after thousands of these approaches, working with over 200 guys, being rejected more than anybody else that I know, making this infield content for the past 5 years and genuinely becoming the best person to coach in this space, abundance is the antidote to all of your anxieties. If you can understand that and you can internalize it, it might not hit properly today, but if you can just understand abundance is what I need, yeah? It's been the thing that's helped me the most. Be quiet, you melt. It's all about concern. By the way, I was gonna do like a Q&A, but most of these comments are retarded. Also, why is a 19-year-old some sort of goal? He's 44 and can only pull someone native because women are. Yeah, so most of the there's actually quite a lot of shit he's talking about. Oh, that's a shame because I would have actually done like a Q&A to actually provide help. But unfortunately, most of these comments are from actual retards who are probably watching these live streams in the mum's basement and haven't been laid in the past couple of years. So yeah, that's a shame. I don't usually allow comments, but I thought, you know what? If people had genuine questions, I would have provided help. I understand why people leave comments like that. I understand you probably in a place in your life right now where you're not living an ideal dating life, so you need to have these contrarian views to be like, oh, why did he go for a 19-year-old? It's like, come on, dude. I think you're better than that, but I do understand it as well. When I was in that grotty apartment 5 years ago, all I wanted to do was hate on people, troll people, lash out. But I understood no one's coming to save me. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't have time for retarded comments and people who just want to sit around and complain and just leave just pointless shit on a stream, which, you know, was intending to at least provide some sort of help. But it is what it is at the end of the day. You can't control the internet. You can only control your actions. But yeah, if you would like to learn more about what I do, there's a link below. You can listen to the testimonials. Christian Casanova testimonials on YouTube. I can understand why people get triggered by this content, especially with the title, the way I'm presenting myself. I get it. I understand it. But yeah, listen, for all the people in the comments who've left some nice, sweet commentary, I really wish all of you all the best. I know what it's like to be in that low place where you feel as though no one fucking loves you, no one fucking likes you, and you don't really feel as though you've got hope. But yeah, there's always a way forward. Even if you just do one thing today, which inspires you, might just be going out, giving someone a compliment. It might be going to the gym. It might be doing something that, you know, is slightly productive, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just leaving troll comments. Maybe that is your thing. In which case, then fucking good luck to you. But yeah, listen, I love you all very much, and we'll do this again soon. Probably not without the live Q&A because, yeah, unfortunately the comments are retarded. But we will do it again, nevertheless. All right, lads, love yous. Mwah.